Dr. Sarah Chen yawned as she stared at the computer screen. It was another long night at the Global Space Observatory. The large room was dark, lit only by the glow of monitors. Sarah sipped her cold coffee, her eyes scanning the data streaming in from deep space. Suddenly, she sat up straight. Something was different. A new signal, unlike anything she had seen before, flashed on her screen. Sarah's heart raced as she double-checked the readings. "This can't be right," she muttered, her fingers flying over the keyboard. But it was. The signal was real, and it was heading straight for Earth. Sarah picked up the phone with shaking hands and dialed her boss. "Dr. Williams, you need to see this. Now." Within hours, the observatory was buzzing with activity. Scientists from around the world joined emergency video calls. They all agreed. This was first contact. An alien fleet was approaching Earth. As dawn broke, world leaders were informed. The UN Security Council called an emergency meeting. In New York, diplomats hurried into the grand meeting room, their faces pale with worry. "Ladies and gentlemen," the Secretary General began, her voice grave. "We face an unprecedented situation. An alien armada is heading towards Earth. We must decide how to respond." The room erupted in chaos. Some leaders wanted to prepare for war. Others suggested trying to communicate with the aliens. A few even proposed surrender. Meanwhile, in a small town in Kansas, Tom Miller was walking his dog. He noticed his neighbors gathering on the street. Looking up at the sky, Tom followed their gaze and gasped. A strange, shimmering object hovered high above them. "What is that thing?" someone asked. Nobody had an answer. But deep down, they all felt a sense of dread. Back in Washington, D.C., the president sat in the Oval Office, surrounded by advisors. The atmosphere was tense. "Mr. President," the defense secretary said, "our satellites have confirmed it. Over 1,000 alien ships are approaching. They'll reach Earth's orbit in less than 48 hours. The president rubbed his temples. "Options. We're working on it, sir," the chief of staff replied. "But our technology is no match for theirs. We're outgunned." As the news spread, panic gripped the world. People rushed to stores, buying up food and supplies. Others fled to the countryside, hoping to escape what they feared was coming. In London, Dr. Emily Watson, a brilliant physicist, worked frantically in her lab. She believed Earth's only hope was to quickly advance their technology. But could they do it in time? "We need more power," she shouted to her team. "If we can just stabilize the quantum field, we might have a chance." Her colleagues looked at her with a mix of hope and doubt. They knew the odds were against them, but they had to try. As night fell across the globe, billions of people looked up at the stars. For the first time, they felt small and vulnerable in the vast universe. Parents hugged their children tighter, lovers held hands, and even strangers found comfort in each other's company. In a secret underground bunker, a group of hackers and tech experts gathered. They called themselves the Resistance. "If the governments can't protect us," their leader, a young woman named Alex, declared, "then we'll have to do it ourselves." They set to work, attempting to intercept alien communications and find a weakness in their systems. As the alien fleet drew closer, Earth held its breath. Military bases around the world were on high alert. Fighters' jets stood ready on runways. Submarines lurked in the depths of the oceans, their nuclear missiles primed. In orbit, astronauts on the International Space Station watched in awe as the alien ships came into view. The vessels were massive, sleek, and unlike anything humans had ever built. "Houston," the station commander radioed, his voice tight with emotion. "We have a visual on the alien fleet. It's incredible." Back on Earth, in the White House Situation Room, the president and his advisors watched the live feed from the space station. The room was silent, the tension palpable. "So," the president said quietly, "the moment of truth has arrived. May God help us all." As the alien ships entered Earth's orbit, a message was broadcast simultaneously on every TV, radio, and electronic device around the world. The aliens had made contact. The message was simple and chilling. People of Earth, your planet is now under the control of the Galactic Empire. Resist, and you will be destroyed. Submit, and you may survive. The world leaders looked at each other in shock. The time for discussion was over. Now they had to decide, fight or surrender. The fate of humanity hung in the balance as Earth faced its greatest challenge. The Galactic Empire had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again. The world was in chaos. Streets were jammed with cars as people tried to flee cities. Stores were emptied of food and supplies. Governments struggled to maintain order. In Washington, D.C., the president addressed the nation. His face was grim on millions of TV screens. My fellow Americans and citizens of the world, he began, we face the greatest threat in human history, but we will not surrender. We will fight. His words echoed across the globe. In every country, leaders made similar speeches. The message was clear. Humanity would stand together. At the Pentagon, generals and scientists worked around the clock. They knew Earth's weapons were no match for the alien technology, but they had to try something. What if we use our nukes? One general suggested. Dr. Emily Watson, the physicist from London, shook her head. She had been flown in to help. No, that would be suicide. We need something new, something they won't expect. In a lab beneath the Pentagon, Emily and her team worked frantically. They were trying to develop a new kind of weapon, one that might work against the aliens. Meanwhile, in orbit, astronauts on the International Space Station became Earth's eyes. They watched the alien ships, reporting every move. They're not attacking, Commander John Chen reported. It's like they're waiting for something. On the ground, militaries around the world prepared as best they could. Tanks rolled into cities. Soldiers dug trenches. Fighter jets patrolled the skies. In the oceans, submarines carrying nuclear weapons went deep, hiding from alien sensors. They were Earth's last line of defense. But not everyone believed fighting was the answer. In India, a group of spiritual leaders called for peace. Violence will only bring more violence, they said. We must try to communicate, to understand. Their words sparked debates worldwide. Some agreed, wanting to avoid war at all costs. Others felt it was naive to think the aliens would listen. In the secret resistance base, Alex and her team of hackers made a breakthrough. They managed to intercept some alien communications. We can't understand their language, Alex told her team, excitement in her voice. But we can see their transmission patterns. Maybe we can use this somehow. As days passed, strange things began to happen. People reported seeing alien scouts in rural areas. Governments tried to keep these sightings secret to avoid panic. In a small village in Africa, a farmer named Quaim saw a strange creature in his field. It was tall, with gray skin and large black eyes. Quaim's first instinct was fear, but then he noticed the creature seemed lost and confused. Without thinking, Quaim offered it some water. The alien took it, studying Quaim with curiosity. For a moment, two beings from different worlds connected. But the moment was short-lived. Military helicopters appeared, and the alien vanished into the forest. Back in the cities, engineers worked to upgrade Earth's infrastructure. They knew that if war came, the power grids and communication networks would be the first targets. We need to make everything stronger, more resilient. A chief engineer in Tokyo explained to his team, if we lose power and communication, we lose everything. In schools and community centers, people began to train. They learned first aid, basic survival skills, and how to use simple weapons. Everyone, young and old, wanted to help somehow. Scientists around the world shared their research openly, forgetting old rivalries. Chinese physicists worked with American engineers. Russian biologists collaborated with Brazilian chemists. The entire scientific community was united in one goal: saving Earth. In orbit, the alien ships remained silent. Their presence was a constant reminder of the threat hanging over the planet. Commander Chen, still watching from the space station, noticed something odd. The alien ships, he reported, they're arranging themselves in a specific pattern. It looks like they're preparing for something big. His words sent a chill through mission control. Whatever the aliens were planning, it was clear that time was running out. In her lab, Dr. Emily Watson finally had a breakthrough. Her team had developed a prototype weapon that could, in theory, disrupt the alien ship's energy fields. "It's not perfect," she told the president, "but it's the best chance we have." The president nodded gravely. "How soon can we produce more?" "A few days, maybe a week," Emily replied. "But sir, we don't know if it will be enough." As night fell across the Earth, billions looked up at the sky. The alien ships were visible now, glowing faintly among the stars. In homes, in bunkers, in hastily built shelters, people held their loved ones close. They all knew that tomorrow, everything could change. The future of humanity hung in the balance. Earth had prepared as best it could. Now, they could only wait and hope it would be enough. The world held its breath as a single alien ship descended from the fleet. It was smaller than the others, sleek and silver, gliding silently through Earth's atmosphere. Global news networks broadcast live footage as the ship approached Washington, D.C. In the White House, the president straightened his tie, his face a mask of calm. But his hand shook slightly as he turned to his advisors. "Well," he said, "it's time to meet our visitors." The alien ship landed on the National Mall, right between the Washington Monument and the Capitol building. A crowd had gathered, held back by a line of nervous soldiers. Camera crews jostled for the best view. For a long moment, nothing happened. The ship sat there, silent and still. Then, with a soft hiss, a door opened. A ramp extended to the ground. 3 figures emerged. They were tall, at least 7 feet, with gray skin that shimmered in the sunlight. Their eyes were large and black, without pupils. They wore no spacesuits, seemingly comfortable in Earth's atmosphere. The lead alien raised a hand. It held a small device. When it spoke, the device translated its words into English. "People of Earth," the alien said, its voice oddly musical, "we are the Galactic Empire. Your planet is now under our protection." A murmur ran through the crowd. Protection. It sounded more like a threat. The president stepped forward, flanked by his security detail. He extended a hand in greeting, but the aliens made no move to reciprocate. "Welcome to Earth," the president said, lowering his hand awkwardly. "We are honored by your visit, but we must insist that Earth remains free and independent." The lead alien tilted its head, as if confused. "You misunderstand. We are not asking. We are informing." In orbit, Commander Chen watched the encounter from the space station. He noticed something alarming. "Houston," he radioed urgently, "the alien fleet is moving. They're spreading out, covering more of the planet." Back on the ground, the president tried to remain diplomatic. "Surely we can discuss this. Earth has much to offer as an ally." The alien's response was cold. "Allies? You are barely out of your Stone Age. You have nothing to offer except obedience." As they spoke, reports started coming in from around the world. Alien ships were landing in major cities: London, Moscow, Beijing, Tokyo, and more. In New York, people watched in awe as a ship hovered over Times Square. In Rio de Janeiro, beachgoers fled as another descended near Copacabana. The lead alien in Washington continued, "Your civilization will be absorbed into the empire. Resist, and you will be eliminated." The president's face hardened. "We will not surrender our freedom without a fight." The alien seemed almost amused. "Fight? With what? Your weapons are toys to us." Suddenly, a commotion erupted in the crowd. A man broke through the line of soldiers, waving a gun. "Go back to space. he shouted, firing wildly at the aliens. The bullets never reached their target. They stopped in midair, suspended by some invisible force field. The aliens didn't even flinch. With a casual wave of its hand, the lead alien sent the gunman flying backwards. He landed hard, unconscious but alive. "This is the violence of your species," the alien said, addressing the stunned crowd. "This is why you need our guidance." In the secret resistance base, Alex and her team watched the encounter on their screens. "We need to do something," Alex said, her voice tight with frustration. "We can't let them take over like this." One of her teammates, a young hacker named Zane, spoke up. "I think I found a weakness in their communication system. If we can disrupt it." Alex nodded eagerly. "Do it, whatever it takes." Back in Washington, the president tried one last time to reason with the aliens. "Please, let us show you that humans are capable of peace. We can learn from each other." The lead alien paused, seeming to consider this. For a moment, hope flickered in the hearts of those watching. Then, the alien's next words shattered that hope. "You have 24 hours to surrender control of your governments to our representatives. After that, we will take control by force." With that, the aliens turned and walked back into their ship. The ramp retracted, the door closed, and the ship rose silently into the air. As it rejoined the fleet in orbit, a message appeared on every screen, every phone, every device capable of displaying text. 24:00. The countdown to Earth's surrender had begun. The president turned to his advisors, his face grim. "Get me every world leader on the line. Now." Across the globe, humans faced the stark reality of their situation. The Galactic Empire had made its intentions clear. Now, humanity had to decide: submit or fight against impossible odds. The next 24 hours would determine the fate of Earth. As the countdown ticked away, the world's leaders gathered in a secure underground bunker. The room was tense, filled with the hum of worried voices and the glow of computer screens. "We have no choice but to fight," the Russian president declared, slamming his fist on the table. "But how?" the Chinese premier asked. "Their technology is far beyond ours." Dr. Emily Watson cleared her throat. All eyes turned to her. "I think I've found something," she said, her voice shaking with excitement. "It's not a weapon, but it might be our salvation." She pulled up a series of complex diagrams on the main screen. "We've been studying the aliens' biology from the limited data we have. There's something unique about human brains that the aliens don't have." The room fell silent as Emily explained. Humans had a part of their brain that allowed for incredible creativity and adaptability. The aliens, despite their advanced technology, lacked this. It's why they couldn't understand our art, our music, our literature, Emily said. They see it as pointless, but it's our strength. In the resistance base, Alex and her team made a startling discovery. Zane had managed to decrypt part of the alien communications. "Look at this," he said, pointing to his screen. "They're confused by our internet. They can't understand memes or jokes." Alex's eyes widened. "That's it. They don't understand human creativity. We can use that against them." As word spread, people around the world began to realize their potential. In New York, a street artist painted a massive mind-bending mural on the side of a building. Alien observers stared at it, clearly puzzled. In Tokyo, a group of programmers created a video game so bizarre and illogical that it crashed alien computers trying to analyze it. In a small village in India, an old woman began telling stories. Her tales were so creative, so full of human emotion and imagination, that the alien observers couldn't process them. They left, confused and frustrated. Back in the bunker, the world leaders listened as Emily outlined her plan. "We flood them with creativity," she said. "Art, music, dance, stories, jokes, everything that makes us human. It'll overload their logical systems." The leaders looked skeptical, but they had no better options. They agreed to give it a try. As the plan spread, something remarkable happened. People stopped panicking and started creating. Streets became canvases for art. Parks turned into stages for improvised plays. The internet exploded with the wildest memes humanity had ever produced. In orbit, Commander Chen noticed something strange. The alien ships, he reported. They're twitching, like they're confused. On the ground, alien observers were struggling. They couldn't understand why humans were suddenly acting so illogically. Their reports back to the fleet were filled with confusion. In a lab in Brazil, a scientist made an incredible discovery. The human brain releases a specific type of wave when we're being creative, she announced to the world. And it disrupts the aliens' technology. Suddenly, Earth had hope. They had found their hidden advantage. In the resistance base, Alex had an idea. What if we broadcast our creativity directly to their ships? She suggested. Her team got to work, hacking into communication satellites. Soon, they were beaming a non-stop stream of human creativity into space. The effect was immediate. Alien ships began to wobble in their orbits. Some of their systems started to fail. In Washington, D.C., the alien ambassador demanded an explanation. "What are you doing?" it asked the president, its usual calm demeanor cracking. The president smiled. "We're just being human." As the countdown neared its end, the aliens were in disarray. Their logical minds couldn't cope with the overwhelming flood of human creativity. In homes, in bunkers, in town squares around the world, people held their breath. They had found their weapon, but would it be enough? With just 1 hour left on the countdown, the alien fleet suddenly went silent. Their ships stopped moving. For a moment, the world waited. Then, a message appeared on screens worldwide. But this time, it wasn't from the aliens. It was from the resistance. "We've done it." Alex's voice rang out. "Their systems are crashing. We have a chance." A cheer went up around the globe. Humanity had found its hidden advantage. Now, it was time to use it. The countdown continued to tick down, but now it wasn't a timer for surrender. It was a countdown to humanity's counterattack. With newfound hope, humanity launched its counterattack. The plan was simple but daring. Overwhelm the aliens with creativity while exploiting their technological weakness. In New York City, a flash mob of thousands gathered in Times Square. They began an impromptu dance routine, their movements chaotic and unpredictable. Overhead, an alien ship wobbled dangerously, its systems struggling to process the scene. In Paris, the Louvre opened its doors. Art students carried paintings into the streets, holding them up towards the alien ships. The bizarre mix of classical and modern art sent the alien observers into confusion. Meanwhile, in Silicon Valley, tech companies unleashed an army of memes and viral videos. The internet became a weapon, flooding alien communication channels with nonsensical human humor. Dr. Emily Watson coordinated the scientific effort from a hidden lab. "We need to amplify the brain waves associated with creativity," she told her team. "If we can broadcast them globally, we might be able to disrupt their entire fleet." In orbit, Commander Chen and his crew on the International Space Station became crucial to the plan. They began transmitting a constant stream of human music, art, and literature directly at the alien fleet. "Houston, you won't believe this," Chen reported, his voice filled with awe. "The alien ships, they're dancing." Indeed, the massive ships were moving erratically, as if trying to follow the rhythm of the music being broadcast to them. It was a surreal sight. On the ground, the resistance played a key role. Alex and her team of hackers had managed to infiltrate the alien communication network. They flooded it with the most bizarre and creative content they could find. "Send them cat videos," Alex shouted, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "And mash it up with classical music and abstract art." The effect was immediate. Alien ships began to lose formation, their movements becoming increasingly erratic. In Washington, D.C., the president addressed the nation. "My fellow humans," he said, his voice firm, "now is the time to show the universe what humanity is capable of. Create, imagine, dream. Let your minds run wild, for in our creativity lies our strength." People took to the streets in every city, town, and village across the globe. They sang, danced, painted, and performed. Every act of creativity sent out waves that disrupted alien technology. In London, the Royal Shakespeare Company put on an impromptu performance of The Midsummer Night's Dream in Trafalgar Square. The aliens observing couldn't comprehend the play's whimsical nature, their confusion growing with each scene. In Tokyo, anime artists collaborated on a massive, surreal mural that covered entire city blocks. Alien ships trying to scan the artwork found their sensors overloaded. Even in small towns, people found ways to contribute. In a tiny village in Mexico, an old storyteller gathered children around him. As he spun tales of magic and wonder, nearby alien scouts retreated, unable to process the imaginative stories. Back in the hidden lab, Dr. Watson made a breakthrough. "We've isolated the exact frequency of creative brainwaves," she announced. "If we can amplify this and broadcast it globally." The world's governments quickly agreed to the plan. Every radio tower, satellite dish, and broadcast antenna was repurposed to transmit the creativity frequency. As the signal went out, the effect was dramatic. Alien ships worldwide began to malfunction. Some crashed into open fields or oceans. Others simply shut down, hanging motionless in the sky. In the resistance base, Alex and her team cheered as they watched alien communications go haywire. "It's working," Zane shouted, high-fiving his teammates. The alien ambassador in Washington, D.C. stumbled out of its ship, clearly disoriented. What are you doing to us?" it asked the president, its translator glitching. The president smiled. "We're showing you what it means to be human." As the day wore on, more and more alien ships fell silent. The massive fleet that had seemed so unstoppable was now in disarray. Commander Chen's voice crackled over the radio from the space station. "You're not going to believe this," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "The alien mothership, it's retreating." Sure enough, the enormous ship at the center of the alien fleet was slowly moving away from Earth. Other ships, those still functional, began to follow. Around the world, people held their breath. Was it possible? Had they actually won? As the alien fleet retreated further into space, a final message was broadcast to Earth. The alien ambassador's voice was weak and confused. "We do not understand. You are too unpredictable, too creative. We will leave your world. But know this, the galaxy will hear of Earth." With that, the alien fleet disappeared into the depths of space, leaving behind a planet forever changed. Humanity had faced its greatest threat and emerged victorious, not through superior firepower, but through the power of human creativity and imagination. The counterattack had succeeded. Earth was safe, and the galaxy was about to learn just how remarkable humans could be. As the alien fleet retreated, Earth erupted in celebration. Streets filled with joyous crowds, fireworks lit up the skies, and impromptu parties broke out everywhere. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. In the days that followed, the world began to change rapidly. The threat of alien invasion had united humanity in ways never before seen. Old rivalries and conflicts seemed petty in the face of what they had just overcome. Dr. Emily Watson found herself at the center of a scientific revolution. Her research into the creative aspects of the human brain had opened up new avenues of study. "We've only scratched the surface of our potential," she told a group of eager young scientists. In the United Nations, world leaders gathered to discuss the future. The Chinese premier stood to address the assembly. "We must maintain this unity," he said. "The aliens may return, and we must be ready." The Russian president nodded in agreement. "But not just with weapons," he added. "We must cultivate our creativity, our art, our culture." These are our true strengths. Meanwhile, in orbit, Commander Chen and his crew were busy studying the alien technology left behind. It's incredible, he reported to ground control. Their ships run on principles we've never even imagined, but they lack the flexibility of human ingenuity. On the ground, Alex and her team of hackers had become international heroes. Governments around the world sought their expertise in understanding and adapting alien technology. It's weird, Alex told a reporter. Yesterday we were rebels. Today we're advisors to world leaders. But not all was well. Reports began to come in of strange occurrences around the globe. In a small town in Brazil, a farmer reported his crops growing at impossible speeds. In Siberia, scientists recorded unusual energy readings emanating from the ground. Dr. Watson was called in to investigate. It seems the aliens left more than just debris, she explained to a concerned UN council. Their presence has somehow altered Earth's biosphere. We're seeing rapid mutations in plants and animals. As if to underscore her point, news came in of a giant, tentacled creature emerging from the Pacific Ocean. It seemed Earth's wildlife was evolving at an accelerated rate, creating new and sometimes dangerous species. Humanity faced a new challenge, adapting to a rapidly changing planet. But this time, they were ready. Teams of scientists, artists, and thinkers were assembled to tackle these new problems. In Japan, a group of engineers developed robots that could safely explore mutated forests. In Africa, botanists worked to understand and cultivate the new, fast-growing plants, seeing potential to end world hunger. Even the entertainment industry played a role. Movies, books, and games depicting humanity's victory over the aliens and their adaptation to the new Earth inspired people and sparked new ideas. But the biggest surprise came 3 months after the alien retreat. A small ship appeared in Earth's orbit. Unlike the sleek, intimidating ships of the Galactic Empire, this one was cobbled together, almost ramshackle in appearance. Commander Chen, still on the space station, was the first to make contact. "This is unexpected," he radioed to Earth. "They say they're refugees from the Empire. They've come seeking asylum." The news sent shockwaves through the global community. The alien refugees told a startling story. News of Earth's resistance had spread through the galaxy. Many oppressed species within the Empire saw humanity as a symbol of hope. "Your creativity, your adaptability," the refugee leader told the UN Assembly. "These are rare in the galaxy." Many now look to Earth as a beacon of freedom. World leaders debated fiercely about how to respond. Some wanted to turn the aliens away, fearing another invasion. Others saw an opportunity for alliance and growth. In the end, it was a speech by a young artist that swayed the debate. "We defeated the Empire not because we were stronger," she said, "but because we dared to imagine a different future. Now we must dare again. We must welcome these refugees and show the galaxy what humanity truly stands for." Her words resonated across the planet. In a historic vote, Earth decided to accept the alien refugees and take its first steps onto the galactic stage. As ships carrying alien refugees began to land, guided in by Commander Chen and his crew, Dr. Watson turned to Alex with a smile. "You know," she said, "I think this is the real turning point. Not just for Earth, but for the entire galaxy." Alex nodded, watching as humans and aliens cautiously greeted each other. "Yeah," she replied. "I think you're right. The real adventure is just beginning." And so, Earth entered a new era. No longer isolated, no longer unprepared. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, armed with the most powerful weapon of all, the boundless creativity of the human spirit. 5 years had passed since the Galactic Empire's retreat and Earth's decision to welcome alien refugees. The planet had changed dramatically. Gleaming spires of hybrid human-alien architecture now punctuated city skylines. Hover vehicles zipped between buildings, their designs a fusion of terrestrial and extraterrestrial engineering. In what was once a quiet field in Kansas, a massive spaceport bustled with activity. Ships of various alien designs arrived and departed, carrying diplomats, traders, and tourists from across the galaxy. Dr. Emily Watson stood at the spaceport's observation deck, watching the ship take off. Her hair had grayed a bit, but her eyes still sparkled with curiosity. "I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime," she murmured. Beside her, Alex nodded, her fingers dancing over a holographic keyboard. "Tell me about it. Remember when our biggest worry was government surveillance? Now I'm designing firewalls to protect Earth from psychic hackers." A voice crackled over the intercom. "Dr. Watson and Alex to the council chamber, please. The Galactic address is about to begin." They hurried to a large, circular room filled with beings from 100 different worlds. At the center stood the President of Earth, ready to address the Galactic Council for the first time. "Representatives of the galaxy," the President began, his voice firm. "Earth has come far in a short time. We've learned much from our new friends and allies, but we've also learned the importance of standing firm in who we are." Murmurs rippled through the alien delegates. The President continued, "We extend a hand in friendship to all peaceful beings. But let our warning be clear. Earth is not to be underestimated." In orbit, Commander Chen, now Admiral of Earth's first interstellar fleet, watched the proceedings from his flagship. The ship, named Creativity, was a marvel of human ingenuity and alien technology. "Status report," Chen ordered. His alien first officer, a refugee named Zax, responded. "All systems nominal, Admiral. The Creativity drive is stable, and our meme cannons are fully charged." Chen nodded, a small smile on his face. Who would have thought humor could be weaponized? Back in the council chamber, the President was concluding his speech. "We invite all to visit Earth, to trade, to learn. But remember, our strength lies not in our weapons, but in our minds and hearts. Attempt to conquer us, and you'll find that humans are full of surprises." As if on cue, a holographic display activated, showing scenes from Earth's history and culture. Aliens watched in fascination as images of art, scientific discoveries, and human achievements flashed by. In a distant corner of the galaxy, aboard the remnants of the once mighty Galactic Empire's fleet, the Emperor watched the broadcast with a mixture of anger and fear. "They mock us," he hissed to his advisors. "These humans and their creativity. We should crush them now, before they grow stronger." But his advisors shifted nervously. "Your Excellency," one ventured, "perhaps we should reconsider. Reports suggest that human ideas are spreading. Many worlds now resist our rule, inspired by Earth's example." The Emperor slumped in his throne. For the first time in millennia, the Galactic Empire faced a force it couldn't comprehend or control. Meanwhile, on a small farming planet at the edge of known space, a young alien child watched the Earth broadcast in awe. She turned to her parent, eyes wide with excitement. "Can we visit Earth someday?" she asked. Her parent smiled. "Perhaps, little one. They say it's a world of wonders and surprises." As the Galactic address concluded, Dr. Watson and Alex left the council chamber, deep in conversation. "You know," Alex said, "I never thought I'd say this, but I'm glad the Empire tried to invade. Look how far we've come because of it." Emily nodded. "It's ironic. They came to conquer us, but instead, they unleashed humanity's potential. Now our ideas are changing the galaxy." As they walked, they passed a group of alien tourists. The visitors were trying Earth food for the first time, their faces contorted in a mix of surprise and delight as they bit into pizza. "That's humanity's real superpower," Alex laughed. "We can even get tentacled beings to enjoy pepperoni." As night fell, Earth glowed with the lights of a thriving interstellar civilization. Ships from 100 worlds docked at the spaceport, and in homes across the planet, humans and aliens shared meals, stories, and dreams. Earth had taken its place among the stars. Its warning to the galaxy was clear: underestimate humans at your own risk. For in the vast cosmic ocean, Earth had become an island of innovation, a beacon of creativity, and a home for all who valued freedom and imagination. The Galactic Empire had sought to conquer Earth. Instead, they had unleashed a force that would reshape the galaxy. Humanity's adventure among the stars had only just begun.